Hi my loves, girl, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, girl, it's Bianca, your favorite 31-year-old mom of two little toddler boys, girl, amongst so many other things. Okay, girl, we're just gonna hop right into the video. There were some topics that I just kind of wanted to explore this year in 2026, you know, as we go into the new year. Girl, this channel is definitely all about, you know, self-education, self-growth, you know, just becoming the most high version of ourselves. A couple of topics that I wanted to explore this year were just like jealousy. I was listening to Jackie Hill Perry last year, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, I don't know, but she kind of mentioned something on like one of her podcasts, and she was just talking about the healthy part of jealousy, or like maybe not healthy, maybe she did say healthy, maybe she just said like the natural part of jealousy. And that's something that I really never considered before or thought about before, you know, the natural or healthy part of jealousy, because natural, healthy, jealousy, those, you know, words don't really go together. But ever since she said that, ever since I heard her say that, I've been curious since that day. If you guys follow the Instagram, it's at its.beunca on Instagram and TikTok as well. But in the bio on Instagram, it says that I am a student of life, in which I am. Like, I love discovering topics such as that, such as this. And so just jealousy, the healthy, natural part of jealousy, especially, you know, being a disciple, being a Christian, being a disciple, you know, I feel like that's not a topic that's often talked about or even just explored. So what's interesting is that is a topic or an avenue that I had on my 2026 list of, you know, topics, theories, all the things to dive into and just, you know, kind of like get more knowledge or gain more knowledge about. So how God speaks to me, or one of the ways that God speaks to me, is just when he just drops it right in my lap, girl. And that's exactly what happened here. So girl, welcome to the channel, welcome back. I heard you guys, okay? I saw that, you know, it was getting a little stagnant, you know, with the back-to-back vlogs. So I said, okay, they're ready for me to switch it up, girl, no problem. All right, I don't mind talking to you guys about the topics outside of vlog mode anyways. So when God just drops it in my lap, that's how I know it's for me. So jealousy, self-sabotage, like, just to name a couple, those are a couple of two of the topics that I want to research further, study further, you know, in 2026, concepts that would help me in my life or to grow, whether that's spiritually, personally, girl, all the things. This video came about by Darius Daniels, and it's called What Jealousy Does in the Dark. And Darius Daniels, he defines jealousy as, or he breaks it down into like three to 5 points. But in the beginning, he lets us know that jealousy is the fear of another person's success. So that's number one. Number two is the threat to my personal self-esteem, which is, so jealousy is the fear of another person's success. Jealousy is a threat to my own personal or self-esteem. And jealousy is resentment for the superior status or perceived advantage of a rival or friend. And so just when I was kind of, you know, just sitting with this, all of this myself, I really had to break down a couple of familiar terms that we use every day, day to day, that I feel like I know the meaning of, but then, you know, you kind of just be like, but do I really know the meaning? One of those was fear. When we say the fear of another person's success, what is that exactly? The fear of another person's success. And so when I broke that down and just researched further a little bit with, you know, AI, Google, it said fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat, right? And so I had to dissect that even further and pick out the terms that really resonated with me. So an unpleasant emotion about someone that is perceived to be a threat. Number three, resentment is a feeling of unfair treatment, because when I think about resentment, I think about a feeling of sadness towards someone, something, a situation, or whatever, because of a feeling of loss about something. Resentment, feeling an unfair treatment for the superior status or perceived advantage of a rival or a friend. And then when it defines self-esteem, right? So back to number 2, a threat to my personal self-esteem. Self-esteem is confidence in one's own worth or abilities, or, you know, self-respect. Those are the 3 topics that he just kind of dives into. Girl, I cannot take credit for any of, you know, these points, but I do just kind of want to take the points and speak to, you know, the marinated thoughts from reading the material, meditating on it, and just kind of applying it, you know, to my life. We are just kind of getting ready for the day. Everything is fresh. We have a fresh face. We have fresh hygiene, okay? Shower, teeth, breath, all the things, okay? Washed our hair earlier today. Sorry, girl, I am just trying to get this. Where is the little? If I'm looking down, that's because I'm trying to put this necklace on and read my notes. Another point is jealousy is the fear of being surpassed, replaced, or forgotten. So when we break down surpassed, the fear that someone else is better than, or someone else did something better, overlooked or disregarded or erased. Oh my gosh. I hate the necklaces that are hard to get on. Okay, there we go, finally. And in the beginning, he was really clear to, you know, distinguish between the difference between envy and jealousy. So he says envy is wanting what someone else has. So a blessing that someone else has, you want that as well, right? You're envious of that. So envy is wanting what someone else has. Jealousy is being upset that they have it, okay? So every developing disciple will be the object of someone else's jealousy, or will be jealous of others. And so just to speak to that a little bit, and to put some Bible behind it, because again, this is a sermon that Darius Daniels did, and if you have not checked him out, girl, I highly recommend that you do tune into that sermon series. But we are in Genesis, or he was in Genesis, we were in Genesis, you know, speaking about the story of Cain and Abel. Adam and Eve had sons, Cain and Abel. So when it was time to make an offering to the Lord, basically, you know, Cain gave from among, while Abel pretty much just provided, you know, the first from his best of everything. Knowing that on your walk with Jesus, if you are a disciple, at some point in your life, you're either going to be a Cain or you're going to be an Abel. And he made it very clear, Darius Daniels made it very clear that at some point in some of our lives, we will be both, right? We will be in a season of being a Cain and an Abel, right? Being jealous of another person's whatever, right? Or another thing or another accomplishment from an individual, feeling surpassed, feeling replaced, feeling forgotten, feeling overlooked, feeling disregarded, feeling erased, feelings of unfair treatment, right? So whether you are a Cain or whether you are an Abel, as a disciple, you know, Darius Daniels lets us know that, girl, at one point in your life, you're gonna eventually be or sit in one of those seats. Basically, jealousy expresses your own underperformance. And so that's kind of where we are at with, you know, Cain brought from among and Abel brought from the first. He says that Abel wasn't better than Cain. So God didn't necessarily make Abel better than Cain, right? As a person, physically, like he wasn't better than him. Cain was just casual, right? And so he says Cain didn't do what Abel did, so he was mad at what Abel got. On Cain's behalf, it was underperformance. Jealousy inhibits our own ability to be accountable. And so Darius Daniels kind of, you know, speaks about how Cain wasn't even upset at first, right? Because he gave his offering first. He wasn't even upset at first when God reacted to his gift or lack thereof. Basically, he kind of really didn't accept it until he saw how God reacted when Abel gave his offering. And that's where that sense of betterment, right? Abel is better, you know, than me, or his gift was better, he is better. He lets us know that Jesus only expects for us to do our best in the season that we're in with our current resources that we have. And girl, that was so good. Let's just pause a bit, because, you know, while there's so much talk about, you know, all influencers do the same thing, everybody's going to Pilates, everybody's journaling, everybody's drinking matcha, everybody's, you know, wow, I mean, girl, there's truth to that, you know, definitely. But here's the thing. Is it your own underperformance? And I'm just using those as an example because they're most relevant, right? Is it your own underperformance, or me, girl? This is the topic that I wanted to explore this year. Is it our own underperformance the reason that we have feelings of maybe resentment towards another individual, right? Because when we define resentment, it's a resentment towards another individual for what they're able to achieve, you know, body goals, because they go to Pilates, or because they're consistent in the gym, or because they are more motivated mentally, or, you know, consistent or disciplined even. Do we feel that it's unfair that they have, you know, those results? Is it just simply just straight up jealousy? Because, and I flipped a couple of pages over in my notes, because he also made a point, and I remembered this. He said, jealousy is being bothered by someone else's accomplishments, even if you don't have the desire to accomplish it. Highlights very well, you know, I guess the difference between envy, going back to that, envy, as well as, you know, just straight up jealousy. So it's bothering you that these girls are, you know, calling themselves 5 a.m. gym girlies, or drinking matchas, and everybody's just doing the same things, other than the obvious, right? You know, because trends come and go, fads come and go, but it's either for you for yourself, or me for myself. Do we want to hop on that wave? Do we want a six-pack? Do we want to, you know, up our lean muscle mass and decrease our total fat or BMI, you know, just around the midsection, just whatever it is? Like, are we jealous, right? Meaning that we don't even want that person to have it. We don't want them to do it. We don't want them to have it. We don't want them to go after it for themselves. We don't want them to chase it. We don't want them to, right? And if that is the case, is it a them thing, or is it a you thing? Is it an us thing, right? Is it a them thing, or is it like self-internal? Again, that is just an expression of our own underperformance. Point 2, jealousy coddles comparison. We spent a few moments over here on the notes, and basically just says that jealousy is going to be hidden if it's never exposed, if it's never brought to the light, if it's never self-assessed. If it's kept in the dark, then it's going to continue to fester. Jealousy begins when we feel another's win is our loss. Comparison opens the door to jealousy. Girl, that is so much, and that is so good. I don't think that I have spent a lot of time being jealous of other individuals, meaning that I just straight up and down don't want them to have that blessing. I don't think that, you know, I think that most times in my life I've been able to be happy for another person, another individual. I've been able to celebrate another person's win. I've been able to congratulate another individual, you know, on their wins. So these are just our Michael Kors earrings that we are going in, just the everyday stud. I like to wear these. I like to have these on. Again, you pretty much can't see it because my hair is freshly straightened, and so girl, I know that these curls are tucked, honey. I know that these curls are tight, these curls are tucked. I can say that I probably have been envious. Clearly here it is telling us that, you know, at some point in your walk as a Christian, you're going to experience, you know, jealousy. Hold on, let me get to it, girl, because I have sat with these notes. Where's the part about denial? And basically he said that for someone to say that they've never been jealous before is basically them, you know, kind of being in denial. What took the most time for me to grow in a particular area or strengthen in a particular area is exactly that point. Another person's win is not necessarily a loss for me. And this took time. Like this didn't just happen overnight. In life, it is comparison. And I think that what really helps, or what helped me, and again, girl, the only reason we're even doing this video is to speak out loud and, you know, to confess our, you know, shortcomings and where we missed the mark, you know, with other individuals. And girl, to just have community, to have good adult conversation. I think that what really helped me was the work that I did to build self-confidence, the work that I did to build my self-esteem, the sermons that I listened to, you know, over and over, different pastors, different preachers, different teachers, different speakers, different podcasts, the time that I sat, you know, in my word, all of the different self-help books, all of, like, I don't even think people even realize, girl, I don't just sit. It's not a lot of time that is wasted, okay? If I'm not being a mom, if I am not working towards, you know, my goals, which is you guys, if I am not, right, there's not just too much time being wasted. And so during that time, I was able to really become one with myself. Really, girl, just to be honest, just to become solid, just to become so solid and so secure in each phase of my life, to know that that was each phase of my life, right? And to be confident in my abilities. Girl, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I am beautiful. I am intelligent. You know, I am a hell of a good mother. And even when we were just doing our 2026 goal prep, I did this separate exercise from this book that I read. It's called Mama, You Are Enough. Because sometimes as a mom, you really kind of lose yourself. But we had to break out like our qualities, our gifts, and our abilities. And under my list of abilities, it says, you know, I am able to persevere. I am able to pivot. I am able to heal. Ooh, girl, I am able to do hard things. I am able to think independently. Like there was just this big, huge chunk of my adolescence where, you know, I was just not thinking for myself, and where I really truly did not believe that I could do hard things. And, you know, as life goes on, because baby, one thing about life is it will life, okay? Life will life. So as life went on, I got up every single day, and the day was hard, and went through the day and got to the next day, and with Jesus holding my hand, with him caressing me, with him talking to me, with him showing himself to me, revealing characteristics about other individuals, revealing untruths about certain situations. But it wasn't until that time passed, until I went through the thing and overcame the thing, because we already have the victory, right? That I was able to just stand so soundly to be happy for another individual and praise God for their win, and for that to not necessarily feel like a loss on my end. Do you get what I'm saying? I think that you girls do. Hey, here we are, and let's just say you had a promotion on your job. Now I can celebrate you, I can congratulate you, and just genuinely, truly be so happy in my heart that you got a bump up. And guess where I'm at? Right here. That doesn't mean that I got a bump down. That either means that there's more learning to do, more healing to get through, more knowledge to obtain, more a lesson that I haven't quite mastered, right? That is just straight up not my season, or Jesus has to move some more stuff out of the way down the line for one of his other children, because he's not just my God, he is God to all of his children, his chosen children, okay? And so when it's my time, boom, then I get that bump too. You know what I'm saying? You may be up here, it just doesn't matter. But I think that you just have to be so whole, or really just kind of do some work in order to be able to celebrate another's win without feeling like that person's win or accomplishment or achievement is a loss on your end, okay? And again, that still goes back to number one, because if you're feeling like that, again, is it a you thing or is it a them thing? Like, is it underperformance that is something that can really be, you know, perfected, worked on, you know, strengthened, like, right? So from there, girl, I was really trying to make this a 15-minute video. Number three, jealousy evolves in isolation. So in this part of the text, Darius Daniels is talking about when Cain is pretty much asking Abel, you know, to go into the forest, luring him into the forest. So he was clear about the fact that it just doesn't, or not always, it doesn't just automatically just happen one day, boom, a situation happens and you're jealous, right? He lets us know that it takes a while to fester. And he also repeats that love does not eradicate jealousy. Love does not, you can't love somebody enough to get rid of, erase, do away with the jealousy. Anyone can be jealous even if they love you. And he lets us know that parents can be jealous of children. Spouses can be jealous of other spouses. Siblings can be jealous of other siblings. Co-workers can be jealous of co-workers, you know. Different ministry leaders in the congregation or within the ministry can be jealous of other ministry leaders. Like, you know, he just lets us know that love does not eradicate jealousy. And God reveals the truth to us to make us prepared, right? So if another individual is jealous of you, God is gonna reveal that to you, not to make you anxious, which is what Darius Daniels, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but that's just what he said, not to make you anxious or paranoid, but to prepare you, right? So that when jealousy comes out of nowhere, that we are prepared. Until an individual grows, jealousy is not eradicated. Jealousy stays alive as long as it's hidden, unaddressed, and not expressed. And we touched on that already. Very important for us to have a safe place, good counsel, communication to remind us of all that we do have when we, you know, are in those patterns of jealous thoughts, jealous feelings, right? Feeling overlooked, feeling of resentment, unfair treatment, feeling of a feeling of surpassing. If there is a feeling of envy, meaning, oh, well, I want that too, or, you know, I wish I could do that, I wish I could have that, I take that and sit in the things that God has already blessed me with, right? Oh, I was able to sit through a 4-year degree, graduate early, still have a GPA above a 3.0. Even though when I immediately got out of college, it really didn't look like what I thought it was going to feel like or look like. Wasn't making the money. Girl, wasn't making no money. Wasn't making no money. Oh my God, let's pivot, because that's one of my abilities. One of my abilities is that I can pivot. So here is a Coach bracelet that we are going to be putting on, just like an everyday bracelet that I love, that is just simple, not doing too much. I love the fact that it's like cream with the gold accent and the C is not like doing too much, because sometimes with Coach I feel like, baby, that C just be a little too bold for me, okay? That C just kind of does too much sometimes with me for Coach with me. So yeah, but this bracelet, and today is just a regular day. Today is just, you know, we're not doing too much, so put on a bracelet so that just when I'm talking to you guys, you know, there's just something on my wrist to have. So now we just have our necklace. My sister got this for me from I think like TikTok shop. Girl, look it cute, feel it cute. It's always a good thing to remind yourself of where you are in life, you know. I was able to stick it out in trade school, or I was able to gain a certain skill set on the job for 7, 8, 9 years, and now I own my own contracting company, or you know, now I'm able to freelance and you know, go do contract work and pick up, you know, jobs and gigs, or oh, I am able to go out and you know, sell tech, sell myself, right, sell the brand, I'm able to market, I'm able to do these things. Like, I have health, I have sight, my legs work, I'm able to run, I'm able to lift, I'm able to chase my kids around the house, I'm able to take my son to t-ball practice, I'm able to breathe, child, I'm able to see, I'm not blind, I can hear, I am beautiful, I am strong, I can overcome. You know, you may be cute, but baby girl, I promise you I'm cute too. And not only on the exterior, but inside, I love who I am. I love that I'm quirky, I love that I'm funny, I love to laugh, I love that, like, just so many things. Girl, I could go on and on and on, and I encourage you to just sit and do the same, because when I tell you, and there's still, it's not, I mean, it's 100, but it's not 200. Like, there are moments where I feel inferior, moments where I feel inadequate, moments where my underperformance may be exposed. And you want to know what happens? I'll sit with it for a little minute, and I'm finna think about what do I need? What do I need to do to make that happen in my life? However that fits in my walk of life for me, in the will that God has for me. And girl, with that, let's move on to point number 4. Jealousy attacks the innocent. And so Abel becomes the object of attack when all he did was win. So jealousy makes us illogical instead of competing. Cain should have been learning from Abel. Yes, girl. Another thing that's on my 2026 goal prep, because today is actually February the 1st. One of the things that I was asking God for is community. Like, but community and mentorship. I need both, right? I want community on YouTube. I want to grow, build, you know, pour into, as well as build and be able to talk to you girls. But at the same time, I also want community in real life. Like, I want to help women, I want to build actual community in real life, and so I speak it out loud. I mean, it just, y'all, it happened just within this week, a week and a half. And that's what I'm saying. Like, all of a sudden, when it's a suddenly thing, like all of a sudden when it happens, and then like, it's just like, boom, it's there. And it wasn't because you searched up on Google, or the cookies picked up, you know, the search queue, or your the feds was listening on the iPhone. No, it wasn't nothing like that. When there's a God encounter, and I pray this for you guys as well, like, and this is one of the ways that God speaks to me. Like, when there's a God encounter, whatever you are thinking, and your thoughts come from your heart, right? Whatever you are thinking, because it's on your heart and because it sits there, and then it just drops in front of your lap, God placed it there for you. I said I wanted to research, look up, what does it mean? What does healthy jealousy mean? What does unhealthy jealousy mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, boom, sermon from Darius Daniels called What Jealousy Does in the Dark. Boom, God gave it to me. Then I asked God for a mentor, but I knew that God wanted me to be in community with someone else. But the thing is where I am in my life right now, the walk of life that I'm in right now, I kind of need somebody who understands. Meaning, like, kind of like a woman, kind of like a mom, kind of like a single mom, or, you know, even if not, just someone who is experienced enough that can speak to that. Because it doesn't have to be a trauma bond, but if you are a Caucasian, well-off male, I just can't, it's not, what can you tell me about being a single black mom? All right, so I'm just saying, but y'all, look, stay with me, because here's the thing, because I came across this black woman, and boom, it fell in my lap. I have so much high hopes for the mentorship that's going to come from that. So yeah, just stay tuned. But just to know that you can be completely innocent, and like you could just literally be getting attacked because of your win. So you didn't do anything, you didn't harm anyone, you don't have malicious intent towards any individual, like just nothing, just straight up, just nothing. But because of your win, you were attacked. Speaking about when Cain, you know, took Abel into the, you know, forest, the woods or whatever, and killed him, you know. And so he lets us know that when Cain killed Abel and, you know, the ground soaked up his blood, you know, basically God was like, you know, what did you do? Okay, what happened? What's the deal? Which leads us to our point number 5. And girl, we are literally almost done. We just have this and this. God lets Cain know that he will be a restless wanderer on the earth. And so basically jealousy creates a curse. Curse meaning it's absent from divine intervention because God has taken his hand off of a thing, right? So you don't want to spend too much time being jealous or being stuck in a jealous state, whereas it causes you to illogically, irrationally act out or do something, okay? Because you don't want to be cursed, right? I think the worst thing is when God removes his hand from you. Jesus, please do not take your Holy Spirit away from me, Heavenly Father, please, okay? God lets him know that you will be a restless wanderer on the earth. So meaning that you will never be stable or feel stable. You will never be settled or feel settled. If you stay in a continuous state of jealousy, you will never be secure or feel secure. You will always be wandering this earth as a wanderer. Girl, that's not never stable, never settled, never secure, never always wondering. Girl, no, that is not what we, girl, no, when we talk about being our best self, working towards being the most high version of ourselves, being our best selves, and you're talking about never stable, never settled, never secure, always wandering, baby, no ma'am, no ma'am. Y'all, like, we have to, y'all, baby girls, ladies, girls, we have to start working towards being secure, whatever that is for you. Reading books, baby girl, read some self-help books, get in your word, get you a study Bible, listen to them sermons consecutively, consistently, you know, journal. What do you like about yourself? What do you love about yourself? What do you want to fix about yourself? You know, identify your own underperformance, write it down, baby. Make a goal list, like how are we going to combat that? How are we going to, you know, become a better person? Like, pray, you know, pray. God, reveal your will to me. God, you know, what is the will that you have for my life? Help me to see myself like you see me. No one is above these temptations. Because we are at the end, girl, we are going in with our Miu Miu fragrance, okay? Just pick this up from Ulta, or did you guys see it? But anyways, I picked this up to pair with another fragrance that I already have that is pretty much kind of like smoky, like it's just like really smoky. And so I thought that this fragrance would pair well with that. So again, girl, getting ready for the day. This is the scent and fragrance for today, and it actually smells really good, smells really clean. It's really light. It smells So now y'all see what I'm looking like. Now y'all see what I'm smelling like. Now y'all see what's behind the exterior, what's actually in my brain, and what I spend a lot of my time focused on. He just gave us another nugget and said godly jealousy is protective. Okay, because our God is a jealous God, and that was kind of the correlation that he made it. Our God is a jealous God, but godly jealousy is protective, while ungodly jealousy is possessive. Moving forward, girl, how do we put one foot in front of the other? How do we begin making progressive steps? He says that the long-term antidote is growth, spiritual formation, and alignment, reminding us that it's progressive sanctification. It doesn't happen overnight. And that's kind of what we just talked about. The Lord knows my frame. When I am weak, he says that I am strong. My best is my best, and I must trust that the Lord's grace, or I must trust that the Lord's grace will fill that gap. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Look, he knows your frame. He knows what you can handle. He knows what you cannot handle. He knows your capacity. Oh, I'm speaking to myself right now. Jesus, you know my frame. Because y'all, it's been so hard this week, but you know my frame, Lord. Please help me. Please let your blood run warm through my veins. Lord, please bridge any gap that may be empty. Make me whole, Lord. Let me be one with you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Lord. And trust that the Lord's grace will fill that gap. He knows your frame, okay? And then he just kind of defines what is spiritual formation, which is a reordering of my own desires that have not been healed, okay? Yes, definitely have desires, even girls still to this day, that are desires that were produced from an unhealed wound, an unhealed experience. Girl, just, ooh, okay. And then the last little note says, study this text and write your own notes. Girl, yes, cute, purple, pen, fun. Y'all already got the things, okay? Y'all got the necklace, y'all got the earrings, y'all got the hair, y'all got me, y'all got inside my brain today. Girl, we had good conversation, we had good counsel, y'all got the bracelet, y'all got the fragrance, girl. It is what it is, girl. It's Beunca, your favorite 31-year-old mom of 2 little toddler boys. Girl, a child of God, a beautiful child of God. Really enjoyed making this video for you guys. I understand that you guys just needed a little switch up, just needed to pivot a little bit, girls. Nothing wrong with that. Pray that you guys consider to subscribing to the channel. Hope that this was useful for you. Please like, please leave us a comment. Let me know what you took away from this video. And girl, that's it. That's all. I'll catch y'all on the next one, girl.